I recently saw now that there are ads on WhatsApp. They will feed us ads on WhatsApp. And you see, at this point, it sounds inconvenient. None of us want to see ads on WhatsApp, man. But you're using it for free. And they have to pay. Remember the episode where I talked about your phone listening to you? Or not listening to you, literally. I consider ads as an infection of anything that comes free. When you use a service for free, you will be met with advertisements because you have to pay for it in other forms. And the people who orchestrate this justify it by saying, at least we give you for free and then give you options of things to spend money on. Things that we calculate to be relevant to you based on your behavior on the internet, that we also track with and without your knowledge. You see this ping pong of guilt and justification now. It still puts the ball in their court, and that is where the ball died. What I'm saying is, they are the ones that created the playground that we are in, and they are blaming us not to complain about the rules of the game when they put us in the game already. And by the way, if you're lost so far, I'm talking about free things like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Gmail, all these things that we are so used to using these days that are used for free. Some people created them, but just by having data, we have access to use them. I said that storage has become a big thing in the tech world. We are running out of storage. All these apps I even wonder, how big is the memory card? Is it as big as Africa that is storing all our information? Oh, God. How big is it? So now, with billions of people on these social media platforms, with billions of megabytes or terabytes of data stored in these sites, there are companies who provide storage. Those companies now have hiked price of storage, or let me say the value of storage. The value of storage has increased. Therefore, the price of storage has increased. And for these media companies to keep up with the price of storage, of storing your data, they will have to charge you, right? They will have to charge you to store your data. Not literally or not directly. Obviously, they will not come and now charge you. And how do they do that? Instagram will not come and charge you to store your data. Hey, we are keeping your pictures that you've posted since 2020 or 2016. Come and pay us. WhatsApp won't do that. We are keeping your chats since 2015. Facebook won't do that. Email will not tell you all your mails came back. They have people who will pay directly for them for the storage. But it is the advertising companies. It is the advertisers. And for those advertisers to get more money, they need these platforms to show their ads to more people so they can generate more sales, so they can pay for this storage. And so they will show you those ads. You have to view those ads to pay for your WhatsApp storage. On Instagram too, we are already managing, already suffering or enduring the ads. Yeah, but that's what's paying for that your picture from 2016. Why that can be justified now, there's a danger that I foresee. Gege said something. Be careful what you start, because if you they do it forever. I mean, it's a quote, but there's no context to it. His own context to it was, you are doing something. You may think you're doing it temporarily. It could be people who are doing fraud, who are doing Yahoo, who are doing hookup, who are selling drugs. Whatever it is you're doing that you think, okay, it's only for the temporary, you stack up, you go into something else, or you do, be careful what you start, because you'll be doing it forever. A lot of old mama Ashao, They didn't think that wasn't their intention, you know. Even bike men, bus drivers, whatever. Gege in his own case is Okada. That's why he left. He was in Okada business, but it was like, this thing is in like this. This is not what he wants for his life. So you better leave it now. Instead of buying more Okada and expanding the Okada business. Like, he should leave his Okada business now and go and look for something else to do that will be more lucrative. If not, he will end up an Okada merchant. And that's not what he wants to be. Not to say that an Okada merchant is bad, but that's not what he wants to be. That's not who he wants to be. I saw an episode of Black Mirror. One of my favorite series of all time is Black Mirror. How futuristic it is. And in one episode of season 7, this lady was a teacher, and her husband worked in a construction company of some sort. They had a very small family, had a good income, they were getting by, and then all of a sudden, while the lady was teaching in class, something happened to her, and she collapsed, and she had a spinal injury. The husband was devastated. At one point, they were telling him, you may have to just give up on your wife, like, she's going to be a vegetable forever, so you decide if you are going to pull her off life support, let you bury her, or you want to just keep her. We'll give you time to make this decision. You don't have to tell us now. You know. In that confusion, somebody walked up to him in the hospital lobby and gave him a card or something and explained to him that they are doing this clinical testing for this new product. It's like it fixes human beings like magic, you know. It's something they put inside your body. And give me a call if you're interested. Obviously, he was interested, and he gave her a call, and they met up, and they explained to him what the thing was. You don't even have to put up any money up front. We can spread the payment plan. You can spread the payment as you like, because we are still testing it. So if you get into our human testing, we will put it for your wife. We hold every liability, but we are confident it will work, and your wife will be back to normal again. He agreed. It was signed. They put it in his wife. Thankfully, it worked. She was healthy again, teaching, going to school. Life was good. It was like a miracle. They couldn't stop thanking the lady that introduced them, that works for the chip company that put the chip in her. After a few months, she started seeing some symptoms. First of all, she'll be having migraines, very, very wicked headaches, you know. They will take her back to the clinic where they put the chip. They will tell her, okay, it's like this, it's like this, like this. Take this meds. But you have to upgrade to a new plan. If not, that old is the outdated version that is there. So they have to update their plan and upgrade to stop getting those headaches. I know this man, you know, this is putting a strain. It's expensive, putting a strain on their account. They didn't plan for this. But it's his wife. He cannot be seeing her in pain. It was affecting their sex life. And so he agreed. They upgraded plans. It was costing them like $500 monthly or something like that. And so they were okay with that, moving and living life. But the man started having to work extra shifts at work, and the woman too. So he was slaving away. He was losing himself. You could see that he wasn't sleeping and all of that. It was strenuous, but at least she wasn't having those headaches again. Until at one point in school, she was talking to her students, and then she just stopped in the middle and started reciting what seems to be an ad for like 30 seconds. And then the thing will stop, and she will get herself and then continue teaching. It happened again one time when she was having sex with her husband. And then he said something. He said something about like lubricant or something, and then she now recited a lubricant, just stood like a robot, and then performed a lubricant ad, and then just snapped back and continued. And I was like, what was that? And she was like, what was what? He said he just said something about lubricant. I said, well, okay, whatever. She went to school the next day, and so in class, her little people came up to her They were discussing, and then he said something about his mom divorcing his dad, and something about his dad not being a Christian or whatever. And then it triggered her again. She started reciting an ad about one church. I'll be donating to one church or be joining one faith something. But it's a church ad. And then the little boy listened to that and went home to tell his mom that the teacher said he should join this thing. What was that? And the mother came to the school and reported her to the school ownership. School ownership was livid. Told her, look, you cannot be advising students about religion. It's not, they gave her a serious query. Also, this was clearly a problem in their life. And so the husband had to take her back. And they went over to the clinic, met the lady that put the chip in her and said, why are you routing ads through us? He said, oh, that this plan now this is what they do in this plan. There are no headaches, but from time to time, you do ads. It forces you to do ads. It's in your spine. Okay. But if you upgrade, you will not be seeing it. How much is the upgrade? It was something like 3 times more. Once they heard the amount, they were just devastated, the couple. So they couldn't activate that upgrade. They went home and they were managing with the ads like that. It first started as if it was a free plan. The story got so terrible that the lady died. She chose that, okay, she doesn't want it again. Let her just go back to the die she was supposed to die. That's how bad it got. The man was doing weird shit on social media now. Like, he was on the dark web, removing his teeth for money and doing crazy weird. So the episode really got pretty dark. And it just reminds me of how crazy something can get to, starting from something so harmless. But if you spot a pattern, or something seems so good to be true, or it's free, have foresight, have imagination. Think of the worst case scenario, because something could slowly metamorphose into a problem that you would wish you were dead than to deal with. I've just launched something we may now refer to as the Good Living Podcast Network. And this is an umbrella of podcasts that serve different audiences. A lot of times I have topics to talk about regarding mental health or depression, or even certain particular professions, like what kind of shege the nurse or the doctor is seeing in the hospital. But I can't do everything on the Good Living Podcast. And so we have dedicated podcasts with experts in those fields discussing issues pertaining to those fields. Very soon coming your way on the Good Living Podcast Network will be Real Matters Only, a podcast hosted by psychotherapists on psychology and relationships and things like that.
Now, due to the way you grew up, so many of you have had to do so much to get validation. Some of you grew up in households where you did everything possible just to get your father's attention. Some of you did so much just to get your mother to say, I am proud of you. So now you're mentally conditioned to the idea that love has to be fought for. Now you are in a relationship and you're the only one doing everything.
And many more podcasts just like that will spring up. Thank you very much for supporting the Good Living Podcast. Let's get back to the episode. So, ads are coming on WhatsApp, but you never saw it coming when you first signed up for WhatsApp. My own, you just don't trust this big tech company, Your forefathers survived somehow. Just seek spiritual fulfillment in this life. That's my own solution to it. If your focus is spiritual fulfillment, you'll be less attracted to the things that big tech is selling, especially for free. If you're satisfied within your soul, there are people who are paying for benefits on Instagram now so they can see how many times somebody rewatched their story or viewed their profile or whatever. If that is what satisfies their soul, good and fine. But I believe that there's a level of satisfaction you have within your soul, you will not be interested in that kind of information. And therefore, big tech cannot sell you some of these things, because now this is what they're selling these days, this aspirational lifestyle. And so if you detach and deconstruct from the desire for that aspirational lifestyle, I believe big tech will have less to sell you. You will only need the essentials and you will still live a very, very comfortably modern life. Thank you very much for listening to Good Living Podcast. I love you guys. See you next week.